Hello, I'm Jonas Litton, and this is the Glass Factory Quarantine Tapes.
I want to know, dear, what you say if you found out that I had found another way, just to say the same thing. And I want to know, dear, what you do if you found out that I've been watching you, just to see for myself what you're like. And oh, I know it's wrong, but when have I been right? When have I been right? Time wants to know now what I will do, now that I'm grown up and being used. Oh, I'm just being used. And God, I want to know, man, what you would say if you found out that I've been living this way, just to please myself. Yeah, no one else. And oh, I know it's wrong, but when have I been right? When have I been right? Tell you the same thing, the same thing, the same. Always a dreamer, I can get him on my side, but never the feeling that I am doing this thing right. And after the damage is assessed, I can see why it costs so much to live. Forever distracted by the thought of moving on, but I can't seem to leave the comfort of my autumn lawn. A wise man had told me that I should let bygones be gone. From that day on, I did. And one day we will wake up and see all of our mistakes, and I can't for the life of me pretend like I'm okay. And 40 days and 40 nights is all that it will take to see a way out. Another December, and it don't feel like it once did. My sister, she wishes we were all still little kids. Now we cross our fingers and hope we win the highest bid, but it won't be me, I'm sure, to pay what they are asking for. One day we will wake up and won't recognize our face, and I can't for the life of me pretend like I'm okay. And 40 days and 40 nights is all that it will take to see a way down, to breathe my way out, to see a way down. Always the dreamer, I can get him on my side, but never the feeling that I am doing this thing right. I'm finally here where no one can find me. Where shooting stars fly by at breakneck speeds. Have no time to wish, and all I need is here. And those I miss, I'll see in 3 or 4 light years. Oh. strangers in this place. And they tell me of the man, the moon in his old face. And others glimpse me from their telescopes. And though I'm lost, I am so with high hopes. As I run Saturn's rings, I am reminded these are no ordinary things. Mercury I've come to know. We just met, but it seems like long ago. I feel numb, only all the time, baby, only all the time. And I could run, leave it all behind, baby, leave it all behind. Easter's gone, I'm waiting to be saved. I am waiting to be saved. Party's on, but things will be okay. You tell me things will be okay. Morning sun, the same one as before, baby, same one as before. And drive for fun, the 20 miles more, maybe 20 miles more. Nothing's right. How'd we end up here? Tell me, how'd we end up here? Losing sight. Is the end still near? Tell me, is the end still near?
So Jonas, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself and your music?
Sure. So my name's Jonas, and I am a musician here in Nashville, Tennessee, born and raised. And I do a lot of my own recording and production. I've always kind of been obsessed with that, and so pretty much my whole life has been trying to figure out how to do it all myself. And so that's healthy and unhealthy, because I've learned, like, it's really fun when you bring other people in to work with you, because you can learn so much. But I think I've found a healthy balance, and so I do a lot of recording and writing here at home in my studio, and bring friends in as much as I can. And so I do that. I do a lot of audio work and podcasting and kind of a bunch of different things right now. I've never really done like only one thing, and so I kind of like to just have every day feel a little different, you know?
Yeah, I like the balance, creative flow. Like,
yeah, I get bored really easily, and so I try to find ways just to make every day feel a little different than the next.
How do you describe what kind of music you make?
Yeah, I'd say I've gotten super into like Americana and folk rock, and I think I'm starting to travel down that lane a little more. I feel like the first album I put out was just kind of like everything I'd had in my head for like 5 years or so, and I was like, I gotta just throw up in this album, just get it all out. And it was kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different sounds and like genres, but I feel like now I'm like, okay, Jonas, time to settle into something, you know. And so I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna lock in folk rock music.
There it is, you guys. You said it. Who or what first got you into music?
I have an uncle who's kind of I feel like everyone kind of has that crazy uncle who lives out in the woods and just kind of does crazy stuff. We all would, my mom's side of the family would go out and we would do just like big jam nights with them, and he like gave me that ukulele and just like, super, here, you can do this. And I just always remember him like just playing music with the family there and just kind of learning from everyone. And then I think my mom just kind of gave me that gentle push, like, hey, do piano lessons. And then I like started a band when I was in elementary school, and then I was like, I'm gonna play the drums now because drums are way cooler than piano. And then I like, well, now I play these two, I think I have to play the guitar now so I can be able to play it and like complete the band, you know. And so that's kind of what I think. Those were a lot of my influences.
For working on your own music by yourself, or do you think that you might do the whole band thing again?
I really, really love having a band. I had one when I released my first album. I had some great guys with me from school who just were all willing to join in with me on that, and we played several shows with that album, and it was so fun. And it was just so fun because it was like all these songs are just the ones I've been holed up in my room like in the dark editing and like slaving over, and then they all came together and just like made it explode in real life, and I was like, this is so great. So I definitely want that feeling again. That was one thing that I was kind of really bummed about when COVID hit and everything shut down, was like, obviously there are a ton of people out there working in the entertainment industry who just lost it. Like they lost the job, lost the ability to work, and I have compassion for those people. But I also, for people like me and everyone who is like gearing up for something, and it's like, well, maybe I could get back into it. It's like, well, now you can't. And so I've just kind of been taking some time to really think about, like, if I'm going to do that again, what's it going to look like, what's it going to sound like, and how am I going to make it happen. So I think now's a good planning period, and I'm just trying to take that seriously, you know.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Are you working on anything right now, like other than planning?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So whenever you put out an album as an artist, it's like you're always just trying to improve on your previous work, and so you put something out and then you're like, God, that sucked, like I can't believe I let that fly. And then it's like, on this album I'll be way better than that. And so you just have that feeling every single time, no matter what, and you're your own worst critic. And so it was like, now I'm going to usurp my first album, and I'm gonna like dethrone it. This is gonna be the You know, I feel like...
It's a good album!
Oh, no, I appreciate it. I really do. And I think every album is a time capsule, you know? It's like, this is what I was doing and thinking back then, and it just, that's it. And now I'm ready to, like, create that next time capsule where I can just put everything, like, all the new techniques I've learned, the new experiences I've had into these songs, and so I played a couple new songs, and definitely taken more of an acoustic route, I think, but I'm just trying, whenever I get home from work or something, just hammer out some more production and record a few more guitars and just slowly chipping away at what I'm gonna call my second album.
What was your creative process like for your first album, Suburbia?
Yes. That one was really weird, but it was really fun. It was basically like, I think what sparked the whole thing was I had a buddy who, Ben Worley, if you're listening, love you, man. He called me and was like, hey, I'm connected with Dark Horse Studio here in town, down in Franklin, Tennessee, and they have some recording days open, and they're looking for an artist to come fill it for their classes so they can teach audio production. And he was like, if you want to do it, man, you can just come in, record some songs. It's like a win-win for everyone. So like, yeah, let's do it. And I did that and recorded 6 songs. And by the end of those, like 3 or 4 days, I was like, oh my gosh, like, we almost have an album. Like, I could do this. And so from there, I took all of what we recorded home and just started messing with it and like layering more vocals and guitars and redoing things and making it just sound a little bigger. And then I recorded stuff like in my friend's garage and in my in-laws' living room and at Starstruck Studios. Whenever I had friends like in different places who could hook me up and just like, hey, it's January 2nd and no one's in the studio because everyone's still out for Christmas, so come in and let's record some stuff. And so I would just take advantage of all those moments, and I think my first album cost $20 because I think the $20 was some money I gave my friend for driving, some gas money, and it was like, that was my goal, was like, how can I do this as a broke college student and make it work? And
you nailed it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And then it all came together. So it's very much like a hodgepodge of sounds and locations, and I think that's what makes it so fun. It's just, every song is just kind of different from the next in a weird way. So.
Cool. Are you going to record the whole next album here in your studio?
So far, it's been here. My buddy next door, I've gotten to be great friends with. He's a producer too, and so we record some stuff together. And where else have I done anything? At my old house before I lived here, recorded a bunch there. So it will. I think it's going to end up being another hodgepodge of stuff, of sounds, which I'm excited about because it keeps things interesting. And it's like, when you listen to it, you get to think, oh wow, I recorded that song when I was living there, or on that guitar when I had it before I had to sell it. And it's like, it's just fun to listen back and relive those memories, you know.
Mm-hmm. How do you think this album is going to be different compared to the previous album?
Yeah, I think this album is probably going to feel a little more, it's going to feel a little more, cohesive, I would say. I think I've sort of, like I was saying, I sort of settled on like folk rock kind of thing, and so definitely more acoustic and still a lot of upbeat songs with full band, but I think it's gonna feel maybe it'll make a little more sense to the average listener who's like, I don't like the first album. I guess I just picture someone in their car who's like, what is he going for? Like, what is he trying to be? And then this album, I'm hoping people can sit down and listen and be like, okay, that's the sound he's going for. Awesome. So I'm trying to make it just feel a little more complete, you know, a little more whole.
Love it.
Yeah.
Your Spotify bio says you are a chicken farmer.
Yes.
Do you have chickens here?
I do.
How many? Do they have names? I need to know.
I have 5 chickens. Their names are Biscuit, Gravy, Joe, Pancake, and Pepper. And they live in my backyard. And they give me eggs, usually daily. Unfortunately, they're molting right now for the season.
What does that mean?
It means they're shedding their feathers and growing new ones to get ready for like the winter months. and I just think they're being sassy with me now because they've had quite enough time to do all of that, and they're still not giving me eggs, and so I think they're just holding that over me right now. But
they're like, Dad, be patient. We'll give them to you when we want.
That's really what it feels like, and every day I have to go out there and like let them out and scoop their poop and give them food and water, and I'm like, when am I going to see the return, the ROI here? Like,
ROI.
You know, it's. But I do love them, and I enjoy being an urban farmer, I guess you would say.
Yeah, it's the Nashville way.
I think so. It's really fun. Anyone can farm chickens. You can do it. Just go get yourself a couple.
My crazy uncle had chickens.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's really fun. I mean, their eggs taste so much better than eggs you buy in the store.
Yeah, agreed.
But so I feel like it's just a part of me now. I feel like it's something people need to know in my Spotify bio. I guess it's relevant in some way.
It totally is.
But it goes to my folk aesthetic, I feel like, you know?
Definitely.
The one that I'm living in my head.
Yeah, I mean, I see this studio and I'm like, this guy definitely has chickens.
Okay, I'm doing something right then.
So in addition to chicken farming, what other quirky hobbies have been keeping you entertained during quarantine?
Great question. I feel like saying we're nerds about things is definitely becoming cool again. Like it's really cool to be a nerd about stuff now. But I still don't know if it will ever be cool to be a nerd about Legos. And maybe to the people out there who are Lego nerds, you will understand. But to everyone else, I feel like it's like, those are kids' toys. What are you doing? But I've gotten super into Legos again. I went to my parents' house and picked up all of my Legos and dumped them all out and started sorting through them again and was like, yes, I remember all of this. And so I'm starting to do that and like recreate. I've found the like instruction manuals online. I'm starting to try and rebuild all my old Lego sets.
That's awesome.
It's really fun. That's one thing.
My brother can like just look at a picture, throw it away, and build the whole thing.
See, that's
it's
so
crazy.
cool. I've been so envious of people who do that. I don't think I'm quite in that league, but I do. I just love. They've always had a place in my heart, and definitely love that. Probably the number one thing that that kept me busy during quarantine was I bought a camper last summer, and it's a little Teardrop camper. And we bought it, my wife and I, and we were going to like hit the road with it, and then I started looking at it and I was like, yeah, it's not in that great shape that I thought it was in, so my dogs. It's been about 6 months of like completely rebuilding it, which I did not expect to do at all. But I like started sanding the wall to like make it nice and pretty again, and I was like, this wall's not gonna work. And so I just like started ripping it off, and before I knew it, I like rebuilt on an entire camper. And that, like, I seriously remember from like day one of quarantine, it was like I was ripping walls off, and then just like the past couple weeks is when I feel like I've finished.
So have you taken it out yet?
Yes, twice.
Nice.
And it's been the greatest thing ever.
There's like a kitchen in there, I'm sure.
Yeah. So you got like a little cabin where you sleep, and it's just long enough for me to fit like head to toe. And then in the back is like a hatch that comes up, and there's a little kitchen in there, and you can cook. And we've taken it to Kentucky and North Carolina and had just insanely great trips. It's the best way to camp. It's so much easier than a tent, and just a little home that you're towing behind you.
Yeah,
you know?
campers are great. I was hoping this question would prompt you to mention your unicycling hobby, but
yes, I have done a good amount of that as well. Yeah, I really like unicycling. My friend taught me how in middle school, and there's nothing more fun than unicycling, like in downtown Nashville, where there are just like all these obstacles. And what's really great is the Symphony Center, because they have all those parking, those little posts that prevent you from being able to pull up like in front of the building, and they line the entire front of the building, and so that's where I practice my weaving. And And then you can go and like off all the curbs and practice jumping and stuff. And so I really like unicycling. It's a fun thing. And my wife got me a new unicycle for Christmas last year, so I've been trying to use that.
So you have 2 unicycles.
The sad thing is, I think I have 3 or 4. And if that speaks anything to who I am, I just like, I'm an obsessive collector. I'm not a hoarder.
You don't say.
Right.
Just kidding.
I'm not a hoarder because everything I have, I can be minimalist about it, but I do like to collect things that are special to me, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Really is. How do you go about writing your lyrics?
Yeah, that's really weird for me. I think I always start with a melody first, and then I put chords to it, and then I sit there until I figure out what the song is about. It's like, and I'm not a good songwriter. I'm really not. It takes me
Your lyrics are so
poetic. Well, no, I appreciate that. I think I'm not good in the sense of being systematic about it. I'm not really a trained songwriter. I just kind of do it whenever it hits or like whenever I feel like it, which is fine, totally fine. But I wish it was something I felt like I had a little more control over, because most of the time it's like I have to be in quiet, like there needs to be silence. I can't have a TV show on or something, or have a bunch of people talking around me. Like I need to sit down and like concentrate and think about what I'm trying to say, and then usually I'm able to just like, I think expressions and like metaphors and things come in my head, and then I like, oh, I could make that fit here if I rhymed that with that, and then so I think I'm always just trying to make things fit until it's done. And then some songs like take me years to write, and I like actually years, and then some songs it's like you sit down and it's done in 10 minutes and you're like, what just happened? And it's so beautiful how it works. It's so random, and I think every songwriter has that kind of outlook on it. It's like, I know that one thing that a story that I really love is Ben Gibbard of Death Cab for Cutie, who I love, said that he like would pack a lunch every day and go to his studio and try and write songs for their album, and one day he went and sat down and wrote the entirety of I Will Follow You Into the Dark, like in one sitting, and then was like, well, I guess I don't need this lunch, and then just like went home. And he was like, I have no idea what happened that day, but it happened. And then the other song, we were meticulously changing words and like really crafting for months, and some songs just like plop out of you, and I'll never understand that, but I think I'm just here to document it when it happens.
That's how I feel when I write poetry. I like don't ever sit down and write poetry. It just like comes to me, and then I'm like, I gotta write this down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and then I don't change anything unless I need to. But
I'm a stickler about change too. It hurts me to change stuff unless it's my idea.
Right,
if it's my idea, it's a good idea. If it's someone else's idea to change it, it's a bad idea. That's
for sure.
And I need to get out of that because that's not.
Yeah, sometimes feedback can be good.
Totally.
But still, like being hands-on with your project, having the final say is definitely ideal.
Yeah, it's important. It's important, and I just think be true to what you're trying to say, because ultimately no one completely knows what you are trying to say. Like,
right.
No one else can say it for you, and so at the end of the day, sometimes you gotta say what you gotta say.
True. Okay, who is your dream collaboration? Like, who would you love to create music with?
I feel like I've thought of this recently. Man, mind goes blank so fast. Who have I been obsessed with lately? I think probably the guys in you're looking at me, did you have an idea?
No, sorry.
I was like
I was just like, you have posters all around your room.
You're right. I know, I was gonna say them, yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say Guster.
So, yeah.
What is that?
There's a they're just so wacky, but they make great music. But they also make wacky music, and they're just so carefree about it. And I'm a person who's pretty rigid and like, it has to be this way. And I could definitely use some carefree attitude in collaboration. But behind that poster, Guster, one of my favorite bands, plus Owsley, who, I don't know how many people out there are familiar with Owsley, but he was like a power pop artist from the late 90s. His music's awesome. He's got 2 albums out on Spotify. Unfortunately, he passed away about 10 years ago. I'm best friends with his son, grew up with him, and I used a couple of his guitars, of Owsley's guitars here.
Cool.
My friends letting me borrow them, and so I get to look way cooler than I actually am, and like I have way more money than I actually do with these guitars. But so Owsley like happened to be playing a show with Guster back then, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" Like my friend gave me that poster, and I was like, "It's Owsley and Guster in one poster," and so
That's sweet.
yeah, it definitely holds a special place.
The color scheme is perfect for this room too.
That's what I thought. I was like, it's meant to be,
meant
you
to
know?
be.
It really
That's
is.
awesome. I love
Absolutely.
that. Cool. Well, that about wraps it up. Thank you so much for all this. This was great.
I really appreciate you guys. You made me feel like an artist again.
Yes. How can people support you?
Honestly, yeah, Spotify's a great place to start. Obviously, there's always controversy over, you know, how artist support actually works through Spotify. But listen, I got about 100 Suburbia CDs left. Y'all, if you're in that CD game and you need one, hit me up. I'll mail you one cheap. It'll be great. I really need to get rid of these CDs. I thought I would sell more than I did. I need to get them going. So order a CD or follow me on Instagram too. I'm really bad at social media, but that's the one place where I periodically post, and it's just my name, Jonas Litton.
Cool. Awesome. Sweet. Thank you. Woo!
Thank y'all. Thank you so much for having me, Glass Factory. I'm Jonas Litton, and you can follow me on Instagram and Spotify and buy one of my CDs if you still listen to them.